While abandoned buildings can become symbolic of a location's financial or social struggles, cities still have to decide what to do with them. Some are left to rust, others are demolished, and a few become revitalized. Here are 10 of the tallest skyscrapers around the world that now sit empty or uncompleted, and how they ended up that way. Plaza Tower, New Orleans. One of New Orleans' tallest buildings has become a danger in the decades since it was erected in the 1960s. While the $15.5 million building had a few residential units, it was mainly designed for offices. In 2002, building tenants, including the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office, complained that toxic mold was making them sick. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the building was gutted because of both mold and asbestos. Since then, its problems have continued. Despite attempts to salvage the Plaza Tower, the two developers were in contract to buy the building, with plans for a $250 million renovation that would turn it into a senior living facility. 909 Chestnut Street, St. Louis. Completed in 1985, the St. Louis building is one of the tallest in the state, and has a fortress-like base, and its facade appears to stretch beyond what is expected, seemingly indefinitely, the report says, and the building has been empty since. The Goldman Group bought 909 Chestnut for $3.6 million, a fraction of its 2006 price of $205 million. The real estate firm hopes to put in 600 apartments, a pickleball court, and a movie theater. Sathorn Unique, Bangkok. Popularly known as Thailand's Ghost Tower, this looming structure dates back to 1990. The 47-floor building was only 80% finished when the 1997 Asian financial crisis hit. With the unfinished luxury condo in ruins, daredevil travelers risk trespassing and injury to explore the tower. Exposed wires and rusty metals are just a few of the building's hazards. Centro Financiero Confinanzas, Venezuela. For years, this empty 45-story building, known as the Torre de David or Tower of David, was also described as the world's tallest slum. But the country's financial crisis and Brillembourg's death put an end to construction in 1994. Some 3,000 people took up residence in the concrete shell of a building, transforming it into a community with electricity, grocery stores, and water, Slate reported in 2014. But the structure was deemed unsafe, and the occupants were evicted in 2014. In 2018, a powerful earthquake did some damage to the upper levels of the Tower of David. One Seaport, New York City. At between $1.5 million and $20 million a pop, units in One Seaport came with the promised luxuries of an infinity pool, dazzling views, and 10-foot ceilings. Buyers snapped them up, putting down hundreds of thousands of dollars as deposits. When it emerged that the building was sinking and leaning to the left, its contractors and developers started blaming each other. While the building is unlikely to fall over, construction has been halted since 2020. Oceanwide Plaza, Los Angeles. Consisting of 3 towers, the unfinished Oceanwide Plaza has become notorious for artists tagging its exterior. Last year, thrill-seekers even base-jumped from the top. The ambitious complex, expected to cost $1 billion, was meant to be home to luxury residential units and a 5-star hotel. It's about 60% complete after construction halted in 2019. Oceanwide Holdings, the company behind the towers, filed for involuntary bankruptcy. Finishing the project would take about $800 million. Ryugyong Hotel in Pyongyang, North Korea. Jutting high above its surrounding buildings, the pyramid-shaped Ryugyong earned the nickname Hotel of Doom when it sat empty and incomplete for more than a decade in the middle of North Korea's biggest city. Work on the 105-story building began in 1987 under the rule of Kim Sung, Kim Jong-un's grandfather. In 1992, the economic depression following the Soviet Union's collapse halted construction. Before windows were installed and the concrete was covered, construction has stopped and started several times since, and it's unclear when the structure will open. In 2008, it would take an estimated $2 billion to complete the hotel. On the outside, though, a new LED screen broadcasts propaganda. Skycity, Mandaluyong, Philippines. This is one project that never got off the ground. Originally, its developers hoped Skycity would be the Philippines' tallest building. They planned for the 77-story skyscraper to hold a hotel, swanky condos, and a bar. Nearby homeowners complained when developers broke ground in 1997 for several reasons, including that the structure, planned to be more than 1,000 feet tall, would cast a giant shadow. A lengthy legal battle ensued, and funding for the estimated $85 million project dried up. The location is just a large, mossy hole now. Goldin Finance 117, China. Nothing in the vicinity comes close to the height of the rusting, unfinished Goldin Finance Tower in Tianjin, a city in northern China. It was meant to hold a hotel, condos, and offices. Construction began on the structure in 2008. A diamond-shaped atrium was supposed to sit atop the building, reminiscent of a glittering gem on top of a walking stick. From the atrium's observation deck and restaurant, guests would have had dizzying views of the city's downtown. The skyscrapers developer started having financial troubles. At that point, it would have taken $10 billion to complete the project. It still remains empty, that construction was set to resume on the building, with an expected completion date of 2027. Beirut Trade Center. Construction on the 40-story Beirut Trade Center, also known as Burj Al Mer or the Tower of Bitterness, began in 1974. At that point, the $15 million building was 70% complete. In addition to office space, the trade center was designed to hold a movie theater and restaurant accessible by helicopter. The architect Camilo Boano and the urban planner Dalia Shabarek described it as a scarred artifact of war that was difficult to topple or renovate.